In this video, I'm gonna share with you my top 5 up-and-coming neighborhoods in Atlanta. And that's coming up right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to Living in Atlanta. This YouTube channel is all about what it's like to live, work, and invest in the Atlanta area. My name is Marc Brenner. I'm a licensed realtor here in Atlanta. And if you're thinking of buying a home, whether it's for your personal use or as an investment property in the Atlanta area, I would love to connect with you. All of my contact information is in the description below. Please feel free to reach out anytime. I talk to real estate investors all the time, and one of the number one questions I get is, what are some of the up-and-coming neighborhoods in Atlanta? Now, one of the things I love most about investing in Atlanta is there are so many major developments going on all over the city. So it really doesn't have to be that difficult to look at the projects that are going on, what areas they're in, and determine which neighborhoods are going to be majorly impacted by these developments. Now, it's important to note a lot of the developments I'm going to be talking about are in various phases of completion. Some are still in the planning phase and some are already complete. But every single neighborhood I'm going to talk about today, I feel confident they would make great areas for investing in real estate, mainly because of the geography. They are all inside the perimeter. They're all going to be close to downtown Atlanta and Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. I would describe every one of them as a solid working class area. None of these areas I would describe as what you would call a war zone. So we're talking about areas that are already great places to invest that, because of these major developments that I'm going to be talking about, are absolutely going to knock it out of the park in terms of long-term and often cases short-term appreciation. All right, so let's get into it. Here are my top 5 up-and-coming neighborhoods in the Atlanta area. All right, coming in at number 5, Venetian Hills. So Venetian Hills is located in southwest Atlanta. It's only about a 10-minute drive to downtown Atlanta and really only about a 10 to 15-minute drive to the airport in South Atlanta. Now, if we take a look at Venetian Hills on the map, you're gonna see how close it is to downtown Atlanta, to all of the major interstates, and to the completed West Side Trail of the Beltline. Prices here are still really low for where it's located in the city, but the reason why I'm so excited about Venetian Hills is actually nearby Fort McPherson. So this is an old Army base that is actually mostly owned by Tyler Perry, and this is where his Tyler Perry Studios is located. There's a ton of production going on over there. But there are 146 acres in Fort McPherson that are set to undergo a redevelopment to the tune of $760 million. Phase 1 is planned to span 24 acres and include a mixture of retail, residential, and art spaces. Phase 2 would entail a $600 million development of a, quote, market district with around 2 million square feet of use, mostly for housing, and would include a European-style food court. It's also planned to house the Southeast Regional Headquarters of the FDA. The third phase of this development would focus mainly on agriculture, including an aquaponics farm, an urban farm, a city park, and much more. The project is also planned on connecting with the local West Side Trail of the Beltline via a spur trail. So you can imagine what kind of impact that's going to have on Venetian Hills as well. Now, the only reason Venetian Hills isn't higher on my list is because this project has recently stalled, but it is still planned to happen. We just don't know when it's going to break ground. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I would encourage you to look at investment properties in Venetian Hills regardless of this project. But once Fort McPherson is transformed in this way, which I do expect to happen, the home values in Venetian Hills are absolutely going to skyrocket. All right, number 4 on my list, the West End. The West End is located, you guessed it, on the west side of downtown Atlanta. Now, I love the West End for so many reasons, but the number one reason has to be the proximity to the completed West Side Trail of the Beltline. And if you go over to the West Side Trail, you can already see the massive impact the Beltline is having on the West End and the surrounding neighborhoods. But the other reason why I'm so excited about the West End is the recently announced transformation of the old West End Mall into a mixed-use hub of retail, office spaces, hotels, and affordable housing. The project is set to add $400 million of redevelopment to the area. And the team behind the development includes Ryan Gravel, who was the original mastermind of the Beltline. So that alone should be enough to get your attention. This project would turn 12.5 acres in the West End into a retail, residential, and office space destination with public green spaces and a MARTA station 1 block away. This redevelopment of the old West End Mall is intended to attract Silicon Valley partners by making it a hub for technology and media. You take the proximity to the West Side Trail, the proximity to downtown Atlanta, and this major overhaul of the West End Mall, and it's easy to see why you want to own property in the West End of Atlanta. In fact, of all the neighborhoods I'll be talking about today, the West End is probably the most developed, meaning if you're on a shorter time frame, you're not in it for the long haul, you want to get in and out within 1 to 3 or 5 years, I would definitely start with the West End because this transformation is already happening in a big way in this area. All right, number 3 on my list of up-and-coming Atlanta neighborhoods is Oakland City. So Oakland City is located in southwest Atlanta. It actually sits opposite of the West End, which we were just talking about, with the west side of the Beltline Trail running between the two neighborhoods. And the reason why I have Oakland City at number 3 on my list is because the West Side Beltline Trail has attracted lots of businesses to the area. Specifically, if you look at the Lee and White development, which you can check out in person if you look at my Atlanta Beltline video. And these businesses are making this section of the city an extremely popular destination for Atlantans to visit on the weekends. We're talking breweries, restaurants, bottle shops, bars, all popping up around this West Side Trail. But the beautiful thing is, prices in Oakland City haven't caught up with the demand. Personally, I see a major opportunity to buy low here and either flip or buy, renovate, and rent out a property and sit and wait for massive appreciation to come your way. Now, very similar to the West End, Oakland City is on a shorter time frame than some of the other neighborhoods I'm talking about because the West Side Trail is already completed and we are already in the process of seeing it transform all the neighborhoods that border the trail. The price for homes in this area relative to how close it is to the Beltline is absolutely incredible. And in 5 to 7 years, I see Oakland City being where Peoplestown or Summerhill is today, which if you don't know already is a very good thing. All right, coming in at number 2 on my list, Grove Park. Now, Grove Park has not 1, but 2 major redevelopments in the work in the area. Now, all of this development is being fueled by a massive green space just north of Grove Park, which contains an old rock quarry that's being turned into a massive water reservoir. The first major project that's going to drive change in this area is the West Side Park at Bellwood Quarry. Now, you've probably heard of Piedmont Park, which is one of the most beautiful parks in the city and one of the absolute most popular destinations for Atlantans to be. Well, the West Side Park at Bellwood Quarry is absolutely going to dwarf Piedmont Park, coming in at 280 acres of green space. The initial 25-acre Phase 1 portion is already underway and will begin to open up the paths for Atlantans to go explore. Meanwhile, there will be a $300 million transformation of this old rock quarry into a reservoir, which will provide 2.4 billion gallons of backup drinking water for Atlantans. The park itself will be landscaped and transformed, adding in a beautiful system of trails and large open green spaces. There's no doubt this is going to be a major destination for Atlantans. Now, as if that wasn't enough, you also have another massive development going on in this same area. A 70-acre mixed-use development called Quarry Yards is set to inject $400 million of development into the area. The first phase of this project will include 27 acres of residential living space a 300-room hotel, and 600,000 square feet of office and retail space. Now, we don't know much about phase 2 of this project, which is just north of phase 1, but it's said to include incredible skyline views of the city, so it's reasonable to expect incredible hotels, residential living space, and I'm sure more retail space as well. Now, these are massive projects that are going to take years before they're complete. But in my opinion, that makes it the perfect time to get in when prices are very low. To me, there's no doubt in 10 years, you will not recognize Grove Park. And you certainly won't regret having bought a home there. All right, coming in at number 1 on my list of the top 5 up-and-coming neighborhoods in Atlanta, College Park. Now, College Park is in southwest Atlanta. It's inside the perimeter. There's really no drive to the airport because the airport is practically in College Park. College Park can get a bad rap in the media for being a dangerous neighborhood in Atlanta. And while there are some dangerous areas in College Park, there are also areas of College Park that are not dangerous at all, and in fact, there are many million-dollar homes in certain areas in College Park. But the reason why I'm so excited about College Park and the Tri-Cities in general, and when I say Tri-Cities, I'm referring to College Park, East Point, and Hapeville, which all are very close to one another in South Atlanta, is there is major development planned for this area. Specifically, Aerotropolis Atlanta, which is actually a coalition of public officials, local business owners, and local residents that are leveraging the area's proximity to Hartsfield-Jackson to lure other major developments into the area. Now, there are some heavy hitters that are a part of this coalition, including Chick-fil-A, Delta, and Porsche, all of which are headquartered in this area. And even more exciting is the first major project that's come from Aerotropolis Atlanta is already underway, and it's called Airport City. It's a 320-acre project that's aimed at bringing a mix of residential, retail, office, and green spaces to the area. We're talking about a $500 million development that is already underway and is planned to bring in around 10 million square feet of new construction to the area. That's the size of 4 Atlantic stations. Now, I already loved College Park for real estate investing due to its proximity to the airport and downtown Atlanta. The prices are still very competitive and there's a massive demand for rentals in the area. But with the Aerotropolis Coalition continuing to lure new developers in and this exciting Airport City project, I have no doubt that College Park and the Tri-Cities in general will greatly reward investors who get in early on this area. All right, so there you have it, my top 5 up-and-coming neighborhoods in Atlanta. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it provided you some value. Like I said, my name is Marc Brenner. I'm a local realtor here in Atlanta, and if you're looking to buy either a primary residence or an investment property, I would love to talk with you. Check out my contact information in the description below, and please feel free to reach out. Also, make sure you subscribe to my video so you can be notified every time I put out a new video about what it's like to live or invest in the Atlanta area. Until then, I'll see you next time.